Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, Mr. Patches Triple X, and I am coming at you here with my second gameplay commentary. And I want to talk about something that's fairly controversial. It's something that we've all heard of in one way or another, something we've seen in the news, something that a family member may have talked to us about. And it has to do with the separation of church and state, the separation of religion from government, and religion's place in government, and if it really does have a place in our government, and what form, which way. So, what I kind of want to use as a case study for this is Kim Davis. Now, about 2 months ago, a couple months back, she was pretty big in the news, and she was everywhere. She was a clerk, or a county clerk in Kentucky. I can't remember which district in Kentucky, which county in Kentucky. But she was a government employee of the state, and one of her jobs was to sign off on marriage certificates. And as we all know, just before this happened, the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage nationwide. They ruled in a 5-4 vote in favor of a gay marriage, saying that it was the right of every human being. So, I mean, right there we have a topic that it's pretty heavily debated. But what I want to talk about is her reaction to this vote and the way that she handled it. So couples went to her after this after gay marriage was legalized nationwide, and they wanted to get married, and she had decided to stop signing off on all marriage certificates, straight or gay, homosexual, lesbian, whatever you want to call it. She refused to sign off on any marriage certificates because she thought that this vote in favor of gay marriage was an insult to marriage as a whole, as an establishment, as whatever. She didn't like it, obviously, so she decided to take a stand on it. So what I always found interesting about this was, does she have a right to do that? Does her religious views give her a right? Does her strong religious views give her a right to say no and not do her part of her job? That's really what it comes down to. And the answer is no. Now, I am all for religious liberties, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever you are. It doesn't matter. Whatever you have your right to your own opinion. You have the right to your own beliefs. You have a right to all that. What you don't have a right to is you don't have a right to your own facts. People can't just make up their own facts. And the facts is that religion was never really intended to be intertwined with government. In fact, the founding fathers didn't want that. That's what they were trying to escape when when they came to America. It wasn't they were trying to get away from a very religious influenced government. So, in the First Amendment, it never actually specifically states that there's supposed to be a separation of church and state. It doesn't actually say separation of church and state. What it does have, though, is it does have what's called an establishment clause. And the establishment clause was for the federal government. It told the federal government that the federal government was hands-off on religion. They had no say in it. They couldn't tell people what to believe. They couldn't tell people what to think. They couldn't favor a religion over another. They couldn't tell churches what to do as far as what they believed and what they practiced. They could do none of that. That wasn't part of their authority. And this was in 1791, at the very beginning of the First Amendment. It had this clause in it. So this was from the very beginning of the First Amendment. So, and this is the federal government. But by about 1831, all 50 states, I believe all 50 states were ratified then, but all 50 states had adopted this establishment clause. They had disestablished religion from government. They had made that whole thing separate. It had no place. They were hands off on religion. So we had that deal, and we had that in order to protect religious liberties, to protect our rights to believe what we want to believe and think what we want to think without fear of prosecution or persecution from the government. So then we have the second part of this argument. And the second part is that the 14th Amendment also protects the rights of everyone's access to marriage. It says in Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, and this is part of Section 1, it says, "Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law." And what that means is that you can't pick and choose what rights you give to your citizens in your state or your country. You can't pick and choose that. If you're going to provide a right to one citizen, all citizens have a right to that right. Due process is a law that all of us have a right to. The Miranda rights that were read before we're arrested or before you're arrested, we all have a right to the right to remain silent, the right to a lawyer. We all have equal access to those rights. So, if you're going to grant citizens in your state the right to marriage, you can't deny that institution to others like gays, homosexuals, transgenders, any of those people. You can't deny that service to them simply based off the grounds that you don't believe in it. That's what's not constitutional, and that is what's wrong. In fact, the Supreme Court's majority reasoning for their decision was that institution is such an integral part of life as a human being that everyone should have equal access to it. You can't deny access to someone to that type of institution that's so critical to human life. Marriage is one of the deepest connections you can form with another human being. So it's very important, and to deny that to other people is very wrong, especially off the grounds of religion, when if the government is the people that are granting marriage, the government can't deny marriage off the grounds of religion, because as we talked about before, the government cannot be assigned a religion. The government cannot push forward the agenda of a certain religion. They cannot put one religion ahead of the other. Just like with gay couples adopting, many people assume or say that gay parents don't make good parents. And what's funny is that studies that were done in Canada and the US and I think some European nations showed that gay couples who adopted tended to have children who turned out better than straight couples who had children. And I'm not saying that straight people can't raise children and gay people are just miles ahead of them as far as parenting goes. That's not what I'm saying. But what it comes down to is circumstance. When a gay couple adopts, they're usually well prepared for it. It's usually something they thought out, it's well planned, they're financially safe, they're financially responsible, and it's something that they are ready for maturity wise. As for where it's easier to conceive and have a child with a straight couple, many times they're not ready for it. Teen couples aren't really ever ready to have a child. So, I just wanted to stress my main point in this video, guys. Church and state do not mix in the American government system. They were never meant to. And I used the Kim Davis as a case study to show you guys that she really doesn't have a leg to stand on legally. Some will try to argue morally, but that's a long shot. So, that's my 2 cents on the opinion on the topic, guys. So, hey, leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think. Like, subscribe, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Peace out.